Okay, so how often do you think you might want to do this?
Hourly?
Really, it is my job as a soft tissue specialist is for me to create space and movement and balance within the tissue and create a more of a proprioceptive connection. And then it's your job, I hand it over to you, because I want you to take it from there going, I want strength and I want power and I want function and all that kind of stuff. So I'm limited as to what my job is. And so this is where I see the beauty of all this kind of connected stuff. So you learning some soft tissue work within your exercises is only going to benefit your clients. How many of you at the present use soft tissue work? Yes, yes. You do get a lot better results because not everybody's going to come just dysfunctional because they haven't got this muscle engaged. There's a reason why it hasn't engaged. It might be because that ankle's jammed up. So what are you going to do all the way up the chain? How are you going to follow that so that you can release something so that the other can engage appropriately? Now there are some times, like with, let's say, my golfers or cyclists, that they put themselves in a position that I'm not going to create them so that they're normal, because that's not their job. Their job is to be abnormal, but I'm going to create an environment in their tissue so that they can do their job without being hindered and without being injured, so that there is their balance rather than what we deem to be normal functional balance. So this is what this is partly does, is that it allows me to check out, to just relax there. Yes, it allows me to check out the dysfunctional here versus, okay, this is much looser on this line, and I'm going to take it all the way up. So for him, I would be focusing, I need to loosen up in here first. Yes? Is there something wrong with this side?
No, I get shin splints and stuff.
You can
But
just-
I'm just a bit
Nothing
weird
wrong.
though.
Just get shin splints. Okay. Yeah, so there is an imbalance, and you can actually see with him just lying that there is something going on this way, right? Yeah, so there's something happening here like this, and this is where I search and follow and go on with my palpations and it's like, I think I can tail in there, buddy.
It's okay.
And the STR, the transfer stuff, is really good for just coming in and shearing, seeing how it will move without being super invasive. Yes. So you got somebody, maybe typical, there's lots of quads out there, patellas are being pushed out in the wrong directions, runners, their imbalances. So maybe you want them to engage their VMO a little bit more, but this guy out there is starting to like, oh God, you're just not letting me do this. Every time that person squats, out it goes, it doesn't hold in here. So what can I do to allow that to happen? The intent is to create more proprioceptive engagement on the inside without over-releasing the out. Yes, because we don't want it so that it's nice and relaxed that there is now no stability, right? We want it enough that, oh yes, oh, I've released a bit, so I can make a little bit of change on the inside, so that the adaptations are gradual, right? So how many times you do it is not about, I'm going to get this back to where it's normal and full, I can kick up into the sky. No, if they come out and that's their extension, maybe I'm only going to bring it up to that much. I'm only going to make that much of a change, so that the whole body has time to adapt and adjust to all the changes that are going on. Okay. So if I was going to, let's say, get the outside done, I have a couple of options how I can do this. I can approach it from this side, and I can use a little bit of resistance. So what I want you to do is I just want you to push into my hand that way, just gentle. Yeah, I don't need you using full strength. It's only 1% for you. Some clients I tell them 10%, but knowing solid guy, 10% needs too much. 10% is going to be throwing me out. Yes, I want just enough that, yes, that there's a softness still retained in the tissue that I'm targeting. I don't want him to give me fights. They like to prove how strong they are, don't they? So I don't want them to go, whoo, or to push you off. No, I just want them to go, it's a bit like just a bit of a candle flicker. That's all I want. Otherwise, then they start to engage things that interfere with this. So, I'm in, I take up my slack, rotate into my heel, my hand. That's it, good. I'm in, take up my slack, rotate it. Good. You're okay?
Yes, we're good.
Yes. Take a slack, good, good, good. So I'm mostly getting vastus lateralis. I'm not so much getting IT band. I'm not a fan of people releasing IT bands because it's such a stabilizer that if you loosen the IT band, what are you left with? No stability. You know, and I had one of my gun-hole graduates go into, we sent him in work experience, and he was in an elite rugby team, and he did a great job of massaging and sending him out into games, so loose and lovely, and he ruptured because he had no control of stability. He overcooked the tissue. So it's just about creating an environment that it can cope with, but maintain that stability. So another option that you can have, if you wanted to work with IT and you didn't want to brutalize it, but you wanted to get it so that it was stopping being too strong, because sometimes it takes over too much. So you want to release it so that maybe you can engage this a little bit more in the anterior to the medial area of the tissue. So I'm going to sit down, pull it up, and release, and take your leg and rotate it back. Okay, good. This time I want you not to work from here. I want you to work from here. Do you see what I'm doing with my instruction? Yes? So I'm taking it, I'm observing what he is actually doing, touching, touching. People can visualize much better when you actually make, okay, I want you to roll into here. I want you to roll into here. So give them something that they can actually neuromuscularly connect. And it makes your approach much more effective. So it's in, take up my slack, roll up into my hands, please. That's much better. Much stronger, isn't it? Of course it is. You're going to agree with me. Roll out. Lovely. And what is it about my posture that's so awesome? The uterus fine. I'm just rocking back and out. My arms are long. There is absolutely no tension in my body. If I have tension in my body and I'm doing this, feels different, doesn't it? Yeah? This, which is my connector, is rigid. And if I'm rigid when I'm touching somebody, the relationship between my hand and their tissue is they're going to protect themselves. They're going to try to, this is something I'm going to be afraid of. And I don't want that. I want the relationship to be, we're friendly. We're here to help. Not I'm here to beat you up. So if this bottom one is soft, the top one does my power. So it's the one driving my bottom hand in. My sit down, my pull makes my whole body remain relaxed. So that when he engages, there isn't any tense relationship between him and me. It's all relaxed. It's all mechanics. Yes? It's all me positioning myself in such a way that I can remain strong but relaxed. Okay? So that you can apply that all the way up the length. You can get very specific into TFL. It's where you want to be. If you want them to come in this way, this is not often. It's not often that it's a medial rotation I have to deal with. It's usually the lateral. That's the one that's all jammed up. But you can get in both directions. You can get them to do it. You can do it. If they're not following your instructions well, then you do it. Yes? And you just get them to totally relax on this. Right? But if they're in tune, they can feel what's going on, you're connected, get them to do it. It's much easier. Yes? They also like to feel part of the process. And I I use this to teach them to go home and do their own STR. Yes? So it's a home care thing also. So in this time, what I want you to do is just to relax, and I'm going to take you. I'm holding my hand. I'm in around the femur. I am protecting that knee joint. I'm not pulling down below because I'll put too much stress between these 2 points. So I'm above, or I am encapsulating that knee joint. So I'm in, take up my slack and pull. In, take up my slack and pull. Yeah? Got the concept? Do we want one more try on the quads? Down on the ground? Give it a shot. See what you got. Okay?